Nick Q. All right. We got all the producers back, all the people in the studio. All right. Also during rehearsal, Dr. Connors came up with a great idea, which obviously she gets an idea, champions it, and it's law the next week. She has a program, specifically, I always like to quote my friend Leo, who says, "Whiff 'em. What's in it for me?" And I was talking to my big boss, Teresa, during the day today, and I'll have to do some healthcare reform talk, but that'll be at the end of the show. Dr. Connors, why don't you talk about your brilliant idea that you were suggesting for not just the children, but
for the adults as well. I cannot take credit for this. Michael just helped give birth to this egg, and here it is. While we were speaking about the calling in audience and all of you out there, and we very much appreciate loaning us your ears this morning, we would like to make a program for adults, for adult museum goers, so you can have the opportunity to have the same experiences as the children do. And we'd like to make a Museum 101 program for adults and for the parents of our after-school children. So when they come by on a rainy day and when they come by on Saturdays, they'll know what the exhibits are about in a very big way as well. And it very much fosters interaction and a beautiful dialogue between parent and child and between adults and other community members. It's sort of like being able to share a great book. We're not exactly here referring to 50 Shades of Grey, but we can do 50 Shades of Mattatuck Museum, and it sure would be a show opener. So we'd love to know the opinion of the public. We'd love to do this, and it was really Mike's idea.
No, never take credit for anything. That's how it gets off the ground. So with the 50 Shades of Grey, rope, by the way, sales went through the roof in New York City. So hopefully we could take that to the museum membership as well, with the 50 Shades of Grey affecting the Museum 101. Obviously it would be for adults and seniors. We're not allowed to call you seniors, remember that. You're Medicare eligible beneficiaries. To my listeners out there, I get scolded all the time. They're like, you can't say that. Okay, so I'm going to have a friend and colleague, Paul Murphy, call at about 17 minutes from now. So, Stephanie, take it away, some of the items that you have on your bullet list over there.
Sure, thanks. We were going to discuss volunteer opportunities at the Mattatuck Museum. Museums, as many nonprofits, really consider volunteers the backbone of our operations. Volunteer help is so very much needed in so many ways, and at the Mattatuck Museum, and as part of my responsibilities, I'm here to tell you that there are a lot of choices. Various departments need volunteer help, from development and fundraising to the marketing team to general administration. Perhaps more on the fun side, special events and receptions in the evenings, during the week and on the weekends. We're always in need of extra hands to help us welcome visitors and even bartend, things like that, help us set up food.
Absolutely. I can't say any names on the air for HIPAA reasons, or producer Nick will have a fit with me. But I must tell you, there is a lovely woman, young, gorgeous, short little bob hair. She comes up to me, and young for me is like 83, and they're hot. And she comes up to me every time at First Thursday, gives me a hug, says how great I'm doing. She listens to the show. The First Thursday, we could use a couple more volunteers for that. We're getting 80 to 100 people per event, and it could be a way. Is there any kickback for being a volunteer? Is there any what's in it for me?
Yes, absolutely. Everything from, of course, obviously supporting the Mattatuck Museum, but also continuing education opportunities like our participating in a behind-the-scenes tour with our very own Dr. Cynthia Rosnoy, our curator. Our volunteers have that opportunity to learn more about the exhibitions, especially if you're volunteering in my department, the education department, in the form of a docent or a museum educator or a tour guide. We really are looking for more help in that area to work with school children in the galleries as part of the benefits to that
But not stepping on Dr. Connor's program. No way.
No.
That's too hardcore for us.
In addition,
I'm only joking.
In addition to Museum 101, we welcome...
Right. We really felt that was important. We could use more volunteers.
Yes.
So you've got cabin fever. You're pent up. Enough blizzards, enough. I heard we're getting like 10 more days of poo-poo weather, which is awful. But it's time to get out there, be part of the community, meet people. I do have friends that say, I really don't do much. For all of those of you in God's waiting room up in Prospect and Toll Brothers, come on down the hill. The events are always early. The parking lot's well lit. There's security. The security team does a great job. All right, enough from me. Keep going. I'm sorry to steal some of your fire.
No, not at all. If you are interested in volunteering with the Mattatuck Museum, feel free to call me and ask for Stephanie Coakley, Director of Education. My extension is 17. The museum's telephone number is 203-753-0381. And again, my extension 17, or email me as Coakley, Coakley, at mattatuckmuseum.org. And I'd be happy to speak with you about what your interests and skills are and find a great match for you.
Beautifully said. And for those of you that didn't get everything because she said it a little fast, producer Nick will have that on the YouTube page. You can always just click on the link, which will explain. Or you can call the radio show. And sorry about that. You can call the radio show at 203-757-1320, and we will be able to put you in touch with any of those people. This is a big boss of mine, so I'll call him later. I'll call you back. Okay, so part of being the owner, people sometimes want your blood, not the employee's blood. So that happens. That's life. All right, Dr. Connors, do you have anything that you want to wrap up with for your section of the show?
Well, I hope that we can give birth to this new idea we just had, and that we'll have some very interested new members at the Mattatuck Museum, and we promise to deliver on Museum 101 for anyone who signs up, and we'll absolutely get your wheels turning, and you can see the beautiful pictures and sculptures at the Mattatuck Museum. It's got to be one of the best kept secrets in the whole state of Connecticut. Right now, it's an eyeful.
Okay. If you don't mind, ladies, stay in the studio, or if you have to leave, you can leave. It's just great to have you. I'm going to do a couple of my real job topics for this show. Okay, for those of you out there that are aging in, I had about 6 or 7 people. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for buying from me. You're coming into the office. And I would love if there are listeners out there that came into the office that I told them, no, you have to actually buy from your employer. What's happening is I had a couple rebels come into my office during the week that didn't have credible coverage. They just had Medicare A and B. So, no, ladies, if you want, you can stay for the phone calls, stay till the end of the show. It'll stop promptly at 1:55, or you can just exit the studio stage left, whatever's good for you. All right, so the couple came into the studio. They had Medicare A and B. A as in apple, B as in boy. Husband and wife, both over 65. They never purchased a credible Part D for drug coverage. I'm sitting there on the couch, and I look at them. I say, look, I would love a sale, but you're going to get penalized. Let me give you away. I'll get you back in the future. Open enrollment for his or her employer was, I can at least say this, it was a male who was still working. His open enrollment for the employer was April 1st. I told him to take the medical plan through the employer, which would again give them credible coverage. They would therefore get a new SEP, special enrollment period. When the husband finally decides to retire, they'll have credible coverage in place. They will get 63 days to secure a Medicare product, whether it be a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage, and that would open up a new window of time. I did explain to him that they're still going to be penalized on the Part D, which the phones usually light up here. And I don't understand that. A penalty means that if you didn't have credible coverage, you should have purchased a Part D, short for drug coverage, when you turn 65. You get 3 months before to secure a product, the month of, or 3 months after. Within that period of time, if you don't purchase a Part D, you will get a 1% per monthly penalty of the national average, which is $32.34. Okay? I know this. I do this all day. Second, we'll talk about Medicare if anyone calls in with questions. 757-1320. Healthcare reform. The intelligent law offices of Carmody and Torrance told me stop reading into it so much, which I did. I got a little nervous. I do give the credit. My competition, Cohen Resnick, gave a phenomenal speech on February 27th, where the gentleman reiterated quite a bit from the Affordable Care Act, the ACA, or the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act, if it's a little longer, if you want to say it that way. Other people call it flat-out Obamacare. So the Obamacare was about 2,186 pages. It was written. But one of the most important aspects, and my friend Teresa, who I was speaking with today, said, "Are you kidding me?" Yes, I am not kidding you. It is going to be a requirement, if you're an employer out there, over 50 full-time employees, to offer it by January 1st, 2014. It is called a tax. If you do not offer your employees the insurance, you will be penalized. It's not 100% sure yet, because again in the paper today, it said that the health insurance exchange, which is Access Health CT, good job, Michael, it's going to be roughly a $3,000 fine per employer and a $2,000 fine per employee that if you don't purchase this. Why am I talking about this? Because I've got to pound it into your heads. We need to embrace, and be ready for this. Healthcare reform is coming. It's law. Supreme Court Justice Roberts passed it in June of 2012, which you all know it came down to the final vote, and it is law. So, yes, my friends out there, if your group is over 50 full and part-time employees, you will be required by law, God bless you, you will be required by law to offer. Now, another point of view that Mark Williams and Chuck Stoller both touched on. Good, smart guys. The deadline for employers to notify their employees, and again, I'm not plagiarizing. I already checked with all my buddies. Thanks, Vincent, for your help. I am telling you what's out there written. Stop reading into it so much, he tells me. You are required by March of 2013, written in the bill, to notify your employees of Access Health CT. Well, now that's been moved to probably a little bit later in the summer. Most likely they're not going to get it done for April because the wording has to be cut down. You can't employ 50 people and hand 50 people a stack of 15 pages and say, read it. No, you've got to break it down to at least 2 to 3, bullet points. And that way, they will be able to read it. Also, for those of you that don't buy from me out there, have some accountability. Either have your broker or your HR person get something from the employer. And again, we talked about this in the boardroom. Make them accountable. I've read it. I signed it. I owned it. I'm in sound mind and body. It's going to be quite heavy fines that are levied for ignoring these things. So again, I am allowed to talk about this. It won't come until the summer that it's a requirement that you inform your employees of the exchange. The Connecticut was one of the first, and here's going to be Ferris in like 2 seconds. It was one of the first states to sign on to the Connecticut Insurance Exchange. It was actually invented by not just Mitt Romney, but by Mitt Romney and his administration in the state of Massachusetts. State of Massachusetts calls it the Connector. We are calling ours Access Health CT. So I'm not sure if it's going to be a .gov, .org, .web, .com, whatever it is, but you'll hear me every 2 weeks. I'll have it down pat. I'd like to plug a chamber function. We'll take a commercial break right after this. There's a big Affordable Care Act meeting for you HR directors out there. That will be on March 28th from 8 o'clock to 9:15 at the Lever Center. And nobody is paying me to plug this. I just feel that it's important to get the word out. Should I take that call before a commercial break?
You can if you want.
All right, rock and roll it. Michael Regan, how can I help you?
Hi, I have a question.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening to the show.
Oh, thank you. My husband will be 65 in June, and he is working full-time. He does have insurance. Does he have to get the Medicare or Medicare A or D?
Well, I have no clue. No, I'm only joking. I know. Okay, are you ready? You have a pen?
Yes.
Okay. His employer
Yes.
offers him insurance.
Yep.
Said carrier, doesn't even matter what name. Is the employer under or over 20 full-time employees?
Way over 20.
Way over 20. So the carrier, United Healthcare, Anthem, Connecticut, Cigna, whatever the carrier is. Did I forget any of my sponsors? United Healthcare, Anthem, Aetna, Cigna. Okay, whoever it is. They're going to be what we call primary.
Okay.
Okay? He has drug coverage through that job, correct? He gets prescription, he gets it at the pharmacy?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so he's got credible medical coverage as well as credible Part D for drug coverage. He's turning 65 in June.
Yeah.
How young are you?
I'm 55, but I do have insurance through my company, too.
No worries at all. Give the guy credit for marrying a nice young girl. All right. So, the gentleman is turning 65. Tell him to not turn on his Part B. He does not need to spend. Is your earned, don't brag and don't say your last name, but is your earned income higher than $170,000? Okay, so if you're single and your earned income is higher than $85,000, married, filing jointly, higher than $170,000, your Part B, as in boy or butter, babe, anything, any of the, it's Part B, will be higher than $104.90. So if your income is higher than $170,000, it will be through the roof. It's like $250 to $300 per month for Part B. But if your income as a married couple is under $170,000, his premium for Part B will be $104.90. $104.90, and he does not need to spend that until he decides to retire. Do you have any clue what the window of time is that he's ready to go?
He wants to go as long as he can go.
Okay, great. Has he collected Social Security yet?
No.
Hold off on that as well, because if you call up this phone number, it's a simple phone number and the lines are always open. Robin's great over there. Teresa's great over there. Maria, it's, got a pen?
Yep.
1-877-405-4874. 1-877-405-4874. Just simply have your husband call during a convenient time, or if you love the internet, you can go on to www.socialsecurity.gov, put in his age and his date of birth and his Social Security number, or on the phone, which I like a live body myself, give them his Social Security number. Ask him what the paycheck will be now if he collects, or ask them what the paycheck will be if he puts it off. And I know the baby boomers. I study this code to the T. I read every book possible. His optimum time to collect a Social Security check is 66 2/3 for your particular age bracket. His date of birth is 6-something-1948, correct? Hello?
Yep, yes it is.
Right, so his date of birth, doesn't need to know the day, is 6-something-1948. For people in the 1948 year window, the optimum time is 66 2/3. So if you can put that off, great. If you can't, start having him collect Social Security, and they will just bill him for the Part B when he elects it. Don't elect it now. It's a waste of $104. He has credible coverage through his employer, and once he decides to retire, he will be given a window of time, which is 63 days. To purchase credible coverage, and that's plenty of time. I'll still be on the airwaves by then, probably in 5 years when he decides to slow down.
Now, what about the hospital coverage? It's supposed to be for free.
A is free. You'll get that automatically from the government. A is free, and you'll get that June 1st, 2013 of this year. But B, you must.
Do anything.
Right, you don't do anything. They'll send you. But you have to turn on Part B, 1, because he's still working, and 2, because he's not collecting Social Security yet. So it's not an automatic.
Oh, okay.
Call anytime you need me.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening. All right, we got to take a commercial break. I'll tell that person on line 2 to hold. Okay. All right, we had a good top of the hour so far. See you in a few minutes.